Hey everybody, and welcome to my transformation video for Ocular Max PS-22 Ventus. So without further ado, let's get right to it. As usual, I'll go through all three modes and end up back where we started, which for this guy is bot mode. He comes shipped in bot mode. So, first thing, the head, make sure it's compressed down all the way, and rotate it 180. Then we'll come around the back here, lift up and disconnect the rotors from the canopy. If you're doing this out of the box, one or both of those may already be disconnected just because of moving around. Go ahead and bring this piece out and bring the canopy up. It does have a locator tab here that goes into a notch on the canopy. Now we are going to mess with that a little bit more, so I'm just bringing it up for now, but we'll probably play with it a little bit more. So when it comes to the arms, get the forefingers curled and then get the thumb on the outside like this. Rotate at 90. Open up the forearm panel. And then slide the whole thing in. We'll do that on both sides before we go any further. Okay, so annoying part of the transformation, you have this clip that's attached to the chest piece, but that it clips onto a metal pin here. If you have that metal pin clipped on all the way, it's super tight to unclip, and what I will do sometimes is use a spudger and basically wedge it, kind of like that motion. Now right now, I just saw a second ago, this one is not fully clipped, so I can get in here and I can unclip it the rest of the way. Now I need to do the same. This one is also the same. It's not fully clipped perfect. I set myself up for success last time I transformed it. So there we go. And now we'll lift up on this. Close up. Sorry for hitting the camera. The two chest pieces. And then we'll fold in these pieces. And you can see this is the groove where it was on that pin. Alright. But once you get that all folded up, now we'll lift this all up. And again, so this piece that's sliding around, you want it to go underneath this. There we go. And when everything's all set up, it should be looking like that. Now for the arms, well, let's see the chest. The instructions are not clear. It says to slide down, but it took me a minute to figure out what it means. It only means this piece. That's it for the slide down part. Then we'll bring this up. We'll bring this up to close it, and we'll leave this up here for now. It'll just make life a little bit easier to be out of the way. So now, we're going to go ahead and do some rotating on the arms here. I like to bend at the 90 at the elbow, because this piece, you have to fold out flat, and you don't have a lot of clearance, which is unusual for MMC, but still, having the elbow at 90, it does help a little bit when it gets down to this area. So you do that. Now this panel only rotates 180 degrees, and the panel underneath it that has the landing gear only rotates 180 degrees. So if you try to rotate it and it doesn't want to move, you're going the wrong direction. See, not moving. Moves super freely and buttery smooth. Okay, and then I'll bring that out and I'll do the same here. And you can see it's offset. So that's stopped up. We'll go this way. And there we go. And of course you can play with the butterfly joint as you need to. So there we go. Now I'll go ahead and bring this, and I gotta slide the arm down on that pin. And you've got all of the arm is hanging off of that pin, so you've got to be careful with it. Also, because of, I'll show you a little bit better when I slide it down, but you need the butterfly joint move forward, and then you can bring it down. And I like to just wiggle, do a little bit at a time. I don't want to put any stress on that pin or on the shoulder joint that rotates. But you see, the arm, this piece, would sit in that notch. So you have to bring it forward to clear it to slide down. Okay? So we're going to do the same on the other side. I'm going to bend this at the 90 to give me a little bit of clearance. Bring that all the way down. Bend it back. Bring it out and rotate. And that's another thing too. The If you go to rotate it with the landing gear all the way down, the landing gear will stick out just enough. It'll hit this, and you could bring it past, but you'll feel the hinge for the landing gear just ever so slightly being in the way. But you do that, and then we do that, and then we'll bring out the butterfly and rotate it all down. Good. So now at this point, at the shoulder joint, you rotate 180 for both sides. And is what we're going to end up doing. You've got a slot here and a slot here on both arms. That's for these two tabs in the piece that has the curved and the half red piece. Don't worry about tabbing it in now. It's not going to stay. It's going to keep popping out. But is what you want to do is you're going to rotate this in. You want the forearm and these panels to stay together and rotate only at this shoulder piece. And I have found that rotating the forearm will then make this piece a lot easier to rotate. It's kind of connected to the forearm in a sense, even though it's kind of just sandwiched between the two pieces. So this is the most complicated part of the entire transformation, and honestly a little annoying. And you know what, before I go any further, there is one other thing. I could have done it in a second, but I'll do it now, so long as I can show you. You have a slider. Slide the fuselage back all the way. Alright, cool. So now we'll keep on going. And it's because the shoulder is so loose on that metal pin, right? But the forearm and the bicep is kind of tight. Now for bot mode, it works out great. You've got good articulation and he can hold the pose. But for this, it's a little annoying. So we are getting there though. And one thing, I'll go ahead and do this now. This is where you would store his regular blaster if you want. It just goes right here in the front. And I'll do it now while we close this up, just so I don't have to do this a second time later, either on or off camera. Okay. There we go. We're getting there. It's coming together. Oh yeah, it's all coming together now. Okay. There we go. So the shoulder has shoulder has two tabs right there. Barely see them. That go into this red armature. Then, in addition to those two tabs that go in sideways with the red armature, you also have a couple of small tabs that go into this nose, so the nose has to come down on top of the arms. So, we're there. That's how the inside should look. And you've got everything up here, including his weapon all set up. So I'm going to leave the combiner hinge out for now, and I will show you why when we get there. We'll be there soon enough. So next, I'm going to take the side hip skirts and fold them up, and you could have done this at any time realistically. I'm going to do it now. There we go. All right, legs. First and foremost, compress the legs. You've got a button right here on each side of the thighs for each thigh. Make sure your rotate is straight, and with the buttons pushed in, you can just compress it. Now that I have transformed him a few times, I can generally use my fingers to push the buttons in, but the first time I had to use the blaster, this or the small one, to push in on the buttons because they're strong enough my spudger wasn't able to touch them, but they have to be pushed in to compress for vehicle mode. So now we're going to come around the back, open up that, open up the whole side of the leg just on tabs, flip up that and open up that, bring the toe Oops, not that far. There we go. Bring the toe in and slide it in on that slider. Bring this toe down and rotate 180. And then just pull. And everything comes around. Now when we get around here, you've got this pin on the bottom of this piece. It has a small little channel that it needs to slide into. So just make sure it does. And then you can line up this piece and get that closed up. It also has this tab for a slot in here. And that's what is currently, there we go, I got it. Cool. All right, good, good. If you had the heel rotated, it'll slip in right there. And if you had the toe rotated, it'll slip in right here. All right. So now I'll go ahead and extend. And you have this small little piece. Flip out. And it locks this back section. When you go to transform him back to either bot mode, yeah, actually, just when you go to transform back to bot mode, do not forget to unlock that first. You will probably snap it if you try to force it. So again, over here, open, open, flip up, pull. I'll do this because I didn't. Bring this down, rotate, seal up, get this tabbed in, get this tabbed in, rotate, flip out, lock, and we're good. Now we're going to combine the two halves. Wait 1 second before I do that. Bring up the back hip skirt, bring down the front hip skirt, and rotate 180 at the hips. Okay. Now, close the front hip skirt around this area, and then just flip up on those pieces. Then you can bring this down, and it should be sitting like that. And this is for helicopter mode only. There will be a different setup for elbow mode that apparently a lot of people aren't getting. I don't know why. Okay. So now here's what we're going to do. You know I have the combiner poured out. That's because the tabs on the side are going to tab into this section. So at this point, with everything sitting like so, you're going to rotate at the ab crunch. You want to rotate all of this in. You only want to rotate at the ab crunch. These, you can barely see it right above my fingernail. There's a white tab just a little bit inside of this. That's going to tab into that too. So as you get to about this point, it's probably going to want to stop moving. Just keep going a little bit more, and you'll get those tabbed in. And you can see that's what we have going on the inside. Now, you can go ahead and bend at the hip joint and the knee joint and just fold everything up. There we go. Now you can close the combiner port. Now you can see it's got that red piece in there that it's going to slot into. Combiner port does have a double joint, so careful with that. But there we go. And for this, so we unfolded this earlier from inside the body of the bot mode. Bleh. Now you flip that down, close these two up. They should tab together. And then you just bring this whole piece down. And if everything else is right, it should just locate itself, lock in. That is about as flush as I can get my copy, so there's a little bit of a gap. And then we come over here for the mast. You can see it's got this red hinge. You can also see it's got a post at the back for a port here. So get that plugged in. Okay. Now, when it comes to the mast, rotates. Can be kind of flimsy. For what I just did, hold it as close to the base as you can. For what I'm about to do is what I do is I hold it up here because we need to rotate it. like that. And then you can close up the blades. Alright? But that is how that should be looking. If you try grabbing these flimsy pieces from underneath and swinging them out, I am willing to bet those are going to snap off. Then back here, you saw me do it already, but just unfold these. This, rotate it around to the side, separate the two blades and compress them. And these are weird, like for me, they keep coming undone. But I sandwich them together and then I bring them out so they can spin. So, but there is his alt mode. And if you want to attach the side weapons, they're right here. I'll just, use a spudger or a fingernail or something like that. Flip it up and there's your round port to attach the cannons. Alright. Done and done. Now to go to arm mode. A lot of it is similar to how it is for bot mode. Also, before we get started, if you do have these installed, take them out and close them back up. You can use that for arm mode. It looks weird, but you can. You can also leave this in for arm mode if you want. I am going to remove it, but you can leave it in. It's up to you. So, first thing, go ahead and bring the blades out a little bit and rotate this down. And clip it in. And then you can bring them back out just for clearance. I like doing that because sticking out is a little bit easier to play with than if they're down, because then it's going to keep hitting the body, getting in my way. Go ahead and lift up on the mast to get it unplugged. And then we'll lift up on all of this. Coming back here, I'll fold down the two fins. I will unplug and squeeze these together like they were for robot mode. And rotate it around so they're on the front. And now, I'm going to lift up and extend the legs. I'm going to bring the combiner port out so I can extend everything here, making sure to watch out for the body pieces that are plugged into the ab crunch. There we go. Cool. So now at this point, I'm going to fold down these two skirts. I'm going to bring it forward, and I'm just going to leave it there for now. I'm not done with it. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate around. I'm going to bring this back down, and I'm going to plug in the butt flap as it was for robot mode. I'm going to bring down the side hip skirts. And you could do this at any time. I'm just going to do it now just to get it out of the way. But if you don't bring down the side hip skirts, then you're going to have limited elbow rotate in the combined mode. So that's what your trade-off is going to be. So there we go. The butt flaps and the side skirts are just like how they were for robot mode. I'm going to come up here. Flip those around. If you bend the knees slightly, you can get your finger under there and just flip them around. And then the front hip skirt is just going to come down. That is how the book, the instructions tell you to have the front hip skirt. Alright? Now we're going to keep on going. I'll do a little rotate there because that's the elbow joint they want you to use. And now we're going to split this back area. See if I can just get in there with my nails instead of a spudger. Good so far. Good. Alright, so lift up on this round piece, open up on that piece, and we're going to rotate it back around. I'm going to do the same over here. And when you rotate it around, this little pin should be going through this notch in the leg. You shouldn't have to lift up on that pin except to get it into the round port that it matches here. And you don't have to lift up very far. It's very, very close. All right, but there you go. For the hands, show you on this one a little bit better. So rotate the toe up. You may need to bring out the slider first. Rotate the heel down so that it's looking like that. Let me do the other side. This is how you want the toe and heel looking for combined mode. Then you just rotate the hand out. Okay. And now we can close up the legs. So let's bring this tab out. Like I said, don't forget it. I'll do that on both sides. And yeah, you can do one leg at a time, just like you can always do one arm at a time. I just have a habit of doing both simultaneously. I don't know why, I'm just weird like that. So this piece, you can go ahead and push into the arm. And I'll finish getting it over here. Tab it into the port, and then close up. Now is what we're going to do. We're going to close the legs, but I want to start with a white piece. Then I'll close everything else up. Because I learned when I try to close everything else up first, the white pieces will both fold in, and then there's a gap and it doesn't sit right. But so I'll do that, close up those. I'll fold this up just like it was for robot mode, and you can see there's a notch and a tab. And then you've got this tab, this slot, this tab, this slot. And then, actually, yeah, that's about it. And then same over here. The only difference is you also have this little piece, so just bend that outwards. You get that tabbed in, the thin folded down, bring that back, tab it in, and then bend that down. All right? So there you go. That is his forearm complete. Like I said, if you wanted, you can flip out these connectors for the arm cannons. I will leave them down. But that's the lower half. Now for the upper half. So I'm going to just split everything a little bit. Like I said, I'll take his gun out. Other things that we can do with that. We can attach it to the gun for hotspot. I won't show it in this video, but still. For a second, I forgot which video I was recording. Alright, so I'll split this a little bit. Alright, and then I'll lift up on that to disengage it all. So I only want to bring it out a little bit. I don't have to bring this out all the way. Here's what we're gonna do. Combiner port. It's got a double hinge. This is critical for stability in arm mode. So I will lift up at this outward hinge, and then I'll bring it down and just make sure to finish it up. So when the combiner port is correct, that's how you want that little white block in there for the double hinge. But we're not done yet. That slider, slide the fuselage forward all the way until it stops. Now we're going to close up the arms again. They're still going to tab in up here exactly the same, mostly. And one other thing to show you there, but the tabs in the shoulders, instead of tabbing into the red armature that is in there, the spine, now they're going to tab into these slots on the combiner port, and that's going to give it a lot of stability. It's going to pretty much lock in the arm connector. Now before I go closing up the sides too much, again, the instructions tell you to lift up the cabin and have it kind of askew so that the rotor can tab into it. If you really wanted, you can leave it all like this, tab it together now, and call it done. But then your rotor is going to be flopping around in arm mode. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do. I'm going to do it the book way so you can see the correct way to do it. And then if you want to do any other methods, go for it. It's your toy. Nobody's going to tell you how to live your life. Whatever you think looks good, you know. But like I said, I'm at least going to do it the correct way. So you do have to get the painted part of the canopy past those side pieces. You have to get this lower piece past the round pieces. You just got to be careful what you're doing so you don't chip anything or crack anything. There we go. All right, and then make sure to squeeze all this side stuff back together, tab it all back in, and I'm going to rotate these out as well so that when they're plugged in, they're going to be looking like that. So for this, pretty much you just bring it down. I will do a final adjustment on that in a minute. go ahead and bring that down, split this apart, and then bring this back up and fold it inside like it was for robot mode. You've got a tab here on both sides going into a slot here. Let's go ahead and do that. Why are you acting like there's something? Okay, there it is. Just needed to click past something. So for this, you've got the double joint, just bring it down on that. You've got a tab right here on the edge of the rotor. Right there, sticking up. And that's on both sides, since it can rotate 180. And that's going to go into this slot right here. And then bring these all the way down. Now that slot that it goes into, it's not going to click or anything. It's just going to press in. And it can still get knocked out if you're playing with this thing a little too rough. But that right there, oh, and then you can extend all this. You can bring the thumb out. Would have been easier to bring the thumb out before connecting things. There we go. Thankfully, the way the thumb connects, you can do just that. And now let me fix all this now that I untabbed it all. All right, cool. So there we go. And then I'll rotate the thumb. Sorry, the hand. And that is the arm mode. Let me extend it a little. So you've got the thighs compressed, the front thigh cover sitting down there like that. This is it. The way the instructions want you to have the arm mode. All right, there you go. And now, finally, we'll get back to robot mode, which from combined mode is a little bit easier. So we're going to rotate the hand. I'm going to go ahead and split it so I can fold up the thumb now. You don't have to, you can wait a second on that, but I will. Go ahead and bring these blades out so they're out of the way. Bring that down. Bring this back. I'll rotate this around. I'm going to bring the front hip skirt up, and you've got two slots for those two tabs, which are not incredibly secure on my copy. They are secure enough, but I do have to hold it like this when I'm rotating bot mode or the arm mode. Anyway, so once you get to this point, go ahead and split the legs. I'm going to pull down on the thighs. And you can see how it's supposed to be sitting. I'm going to lift up on these knee covers. Now I'm going to open up that panel, open up this panel, fold up the hand, right? And on the one with the thumb, this is how it's supposed to be, and then rotate the whole thing inward. And if you get to a point where you rotate it and it feels stuck, it's your toe or your heel has rotated or something. So just kind of wiggle them around a little. I'll bring the toe all the way out, which is all the way out on its slider plus flush. I'll bring the heel up, and that will get rotated. Should be like so. I like to bring this panel down first, and then I'll close this panel. Make life a little bit easier since it's got to locate into it. And then when you close this up again, you're using the same two tabs and slots you did for the arm mode. Right? That's one leg done. Do the same thing over here. Open, open, fold, rotate, bring the toe out, bring the heel, rotate it around and bring it up, close this up, I'll close that, and you know you have the heel correct when the blade, the rotor, the tail fins can just sit back there. Tail rotor. Man, words. But so there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and lift up on this, just so I can get my finger in here, because it makes it a little bit easier just to split all this apart. Now when you get to this point is when you're going to start seeing the resistance between that shoulder joint that's on the metal pin. So is what I'll do is I'll rotate the forearm as much as I can, which makes it easier to rotate these outer body panels. It's just odd how that's set up. And then when I can, I'll bring that up and bring the butterfly back. I'll do that pretty much as soon as I can. Let's see, for some reason. There we go. Bring this up. Good. And good. Alright, now that we're at this point, I'm going to do the rotate for that panel. I'm going to bring the landing gear in a little bit, and I'm going to do the rotate for the other panel. Use the butterfly joint to give yourself that room. I'll close all that up. Get the elbow out of the way so I can close this up. Alright, I'll do the same over here. I'll rotate. I'll rotate that. Rotate the entire thing. Close that up. Bring this up. There we go. So when it comes to those, just remember they only rotate the one way. So if it feels stuck, it might be stuck. So just take a look at what you're doing and be careful. Bring the hands out. Rotate. Close the forearm. Arms are done. I'll bring the connector hinge down, then up, and then I can rotate it down. It's a little easier that way to deal with it because of the sliding part, the double hinge part. I'll fold that up so that we're sitting like this. I'll bring this down. Before I go down too far, I do want to grab a spudger or something. I need to bring out these pieces that attach to the metal pin. And then I'll slide this all the way up. So I'll bring this down. I'll get it right about where it needs to be. And then I'll go to compress everything. And you got to make sure the chest tabs into this gap as well as that clip getting onto the metal pin. There we go. Now we can close this up. I'll bring this back. This white piece, you see it's got that notch right in the center. That pretty much goes onto the antenna that's on this little red joint. It doesn't sit incredibly securely and it's super easy to untab, but it does help kind of fill in that gap. And then for the rotor blade here, you've got that red joint. Bring it down, up, and then you want to snap it in place. And it is stiff. It does go, but man. There we go. And then you can fold the blades up and hook them into the canopy at that empty notch. There we go. Last thing, rotate the head around and pull up on the ball joint a little so he has his articulation, and that is it for Ocular Max PS-22 Ventus, aka Blades. Whew! Alright. Tried going through it as quickly as I could while also actually explaining it to you and showing you what was going on. So, there you go. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope this helped any of you, and I'll see you next time.